Okay, in this video, I want to talk about a unique feature in Logic called pickup clock and explain its use in the context of temp music. When you're asked to compose a score, more often than not, there will be temp music provided for that score. These are temporary tracks that maybe an editor was cutting to or stuff a director really likes. Now, some composers reject temp right away. I totally understand where they're coming from. They don't want to have their voice sullied by some abstract idea that has been temporarily dropped into the sequence. But also, it's valuable to hear that temp sometimes and maybe just see where the director was coming from. So let's say, hypothetically, we're going to listen to some temp music and drop it into the score and then write music that is similar to it or maybe somewhat influenced by it. Now, this video ties into my classroom lecture on film scoring, so the example could be different than the one that I'm talking about or showing you, but the principle's the same. One video track, and I have two temp tracks here. The first thing I'm going to do here is have you find the pickup clock function in the Edit Key Commands window. I talked about this in my last video. I linked to it below. As you can see, I've already searched for it here, and in this blank to the right, I've assigned Control-Option-Command / as the keystroke. So these symbols here plus the / key is Control-Option-Command and /. Generally, the longer the keystroke is, the less likely it is that it's already taken by some higher function in the program. And on a Mac, the Control-Option-Command keys are right next to each other, so it's easy to access. Also, if you use your right hand, the / key is near the right edge of the computer keyboard, so the likelihood of making a mistake when you strike it is lessened. So good. Control-Option-Command / is assigned, and now I'm going to close this window. In this hypothetical example, my movie is already in the timeline. The first frame of this reel is reel 4, and I lined it up to measure 1. I also show you how to do this in my last video. And we have two temp tracks here where you can see the timestamp of the tracks is designated in the file name. When you're sending tracks to the mixer, when you're sending tracks to a music editor, it is so important to put the time code at the start of the file name, not some arbitrary track name or your own name. This way, when the mixer and editor gets the files, they can immediately put everything in chronological order, and they know exactly where it goes without having to open the file or to look at a cue sheet. So this first track's timestamp is at hour 4, 0 minutes, 2 seconds, and 19 frames. And the second one is at 42 seconds and 16 frames. I've made 2 lanes in the arrange window because I don't have a cue sheet and I don't immediately know how long each of these tracks are. So I'm just going to make 2 and perhaps I'll consolidate them later. We're muting these tracks anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So here I am stepping frame by frame through the picture to find the exact time code. And then parking the playhead, that giant white line that you see, I'm going to park that right on the exact frame. Okay, 2:19. Very good. Now I'm going to go into the folder and drag that track into the first temp music lane anywhere. You don't need to manually line it up because that's what the keystroke is for. Lovely. Now, once it's in and you can see the waveforms, make sure the region is selected and hit Control-Option-Command / the key that you programmed, and that region moves to the position in your timeline, like so. Now we're going to do the same thing with the second track, 42:16. Use your mouse or hit play to move quickly, and then use comma and period to step frame by frame to where you want. Here you go, 15:16, done. So make sure the region is selected, and boom. So that's how you spot the temp tracks into the timeline. Later, you're going to mute these and then compose your own music that is somewhat influenced by these tracks. And what we just did here pretty much is analogous to putting your timeline in spot mode in Pro Tools, if you can remember that. Okay, let's play this back just to make sure. Okay, hit me up if you have a question, and good luck.